Great Saturday morning, April 18th, 2020. To God be the glory for yet another opportunity to do His will and experience His mercies that are renewed every morning. Great is His faithfulness. We are in Isaiah 38, and it's very time appropriate. I don't know if you have been keeping up with certain segments of the news and coverage, and just even across the world, and how there are survivors of the COVID-19, after they go into the hospital and they're hooked up into the ventilators. The scientists in the medical community, I heard, said that there's only a 20% chance that a person will survive after being hooked up in a ventilator. So 80% eventually transition, within few days. But thank the Lord, there are people that are surviving, and they are receiving addition to their days. And this brings us to the story of Hezekiah. He was the king of Judah, and one day he became very sick, and we see this story again in 2 Kings 20, I believe. But in Isaiah 38, it talks about how he was given, pretty much a sentence. The life will end very, immediately. And he had a boil. And, well, anyway, Isaiah gave him the news, and Hezekiah, what did he do? He didn't turn to people. He didn't turn to food, being depressed. No, he turned to the wall and he prayed. That means he got into a solitary place, and he cried and wept, and he prayed, and he said, Lord, remember how righteous I walked among the earth and did your will, and I walked before thee in truth with a perfect heart, and I did that which was good in thy sight. So the Lord, first of all, want us to have that prerequisite, not just to live a shabby, sloppy life, but so that He will, hear our prayers in a time of need. And guess what? In verse 9, the Lord gave him mercy. Hezekiah recovered from sickness, and in verse 5, the Lord said, I will add 15 years to thy days. What would you do if the Lord said, I will give you 15 more years? So 2035 would be it. Or what about 15 more months? That would be July of next year, 2021. Or 15 more weeks. That would be maybe July of, this year. Then 15 more days would be like beginning of May. 15 more minutes. Yeah, we know it'll still be this morning. What will we do with the time that the Lord would give us? Well, I hope we would do this in verse 1. I hope all of us are doing this during this pandemic, this quarantine. I know I have coworkers who say that they have cleaned their washroom probably 7 times or 8 times. They have, organized their house so many times. Well, it says in verse 1 to set thine house in order. That means give instructions, get things organized, so that the next generation or who comes after you will have clear direction, and they will know what to do. And in the promise, in the word, in Psalms 48, we know that the Lord says that He will be our guide in life and even unto death. That's verse 14. So we have nothing to fear. So with the days that we have left, let's live it to God. Let's enjoy His blessings, and let's follow His righteous precepts. And we'll just be existing and experiencing the